Morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the webinar, Journey of a Review. I'm so excited to be doing this webinar today. My name is Katie Lance. I'm the founder and CEO of Katie Lance Consulting, and I'm so thrilled to be here with one of my clients, Riti and Anil Verma from RankMyAgent. And I'm just so excited about this content. We've got some really, really good content planned for you guys today. Before we dive into kind of the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be talking about today, I want to make sure that you guys can hear me okay and that you can see my screen okay. So we are using GoToWebinar, and there's a question box in GoToWebinar. If you guys could just put the words yes or no in the question box and let me know that you can hear me okay and that I'm coming through loud and clear and that you can see my slides, that would be awesome. Cool. Okay, perfect. Courtney's here. Great. Laura, thank you. Liz, Natasha, Glenn, Heather, lots of great people. Yes and yes. Awesome. Thank you, Jeffrey, Janet, Kathy. Ooh, I can't name all of you. There's tons of people here. Awesome. Okay, thank you guys so much. So welcome, welcome. Again, thrilled to be here today. Let me just start off with a couple quick housekeeping things, and then I'm going to introduce my co-host today. So a couple quick housekeeping things. We are recording this. So if for some reason you have to leave early or you have an issue with the audio or anything like that, we are recording this, and you guys will get a copy of the recording later this afternoon in your email. You're also, as a bonus, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, in your email later today, you're going to get a free PDF checklist, which is awesome. I'm going to cover that a little bit later on as to what that is, but you guys are also going to get that later in your email. The second thing is we do have a hashtag. So our hashtag today is hashtag #SocialSmartReviews, hashtag #SocialSmartReviews, and I'm hoping maybe my colleague Melissa, who's listening, can put that into the chat. So hashtag #SocialSmartReviews is our hashtag today. So I would love if you're on Twitter, if you could send a tweet out, use the hashtag #SocialSmartReviews. Let us know that you're tuning in, and as we go through the webinar, as you hear nuggets of information or things that are really catch your attention, feel free to tweet those out also. We'll be jumping on Twitter afterwards, and we'll jump into the conversation there. The last thing I want to mention is we are using GoToWebinar. If you do have any issue with the audio or anything like that, it does help to sometimes close out any additional windows. If you have other windows that are happening, that are open in the background, worst case scenario, you can always close down GoToWebinar and rejoin, but we shouldn't have any problems at all. And like I said, this is being recorded. So today I'm very excited because we're talking about this whole topic around reviews, and I know we've got lots of agents and brokers and real estate professionals all over who are tuning in today. So let me go ahead and introduce my co-host with me today, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about what we're going to talk about and really jump into the topic today. So Riti Verma is the founder of RankMyAgent, and RankMyAgent is an online platform that connects real estate professionals and brokers to consumers by using the power of reviews to get them recognized, generate leads, and build their online reputation. RankMyAgent is the culmination of Riti's passion for technology, real estate, and entrepreneurship. And Riti comes from a strong technology and real estate background, having worked in emerging technologies for over a decade and also licensed in Ontario, Canada. Most recently, Riti has been honored to be selected by Inman News among 19 like-minded women tech entrepreneurs, which is awesome, woohoo, who are shaking things up in real estate. She's also a mother of 2 small children and runs a vibrant household with her husband in Calgary, Alberta. We also have Anil Verma, and Anil is the Chief Marketing Officer at RankMyAgent. Anil's core experience is in digital strategy, business development, and online marketing, and it's allowed him to develop the online strategy for an FI and launched 2 startups in the consumer product space and currently executing the go-to-market approach for RankMyAgent. He possesses a Bachelor of Commerce and an Ivy MBA, and he is Riti's brother-in-law. And of course, when he's not thinking of the next online idea, he loves to play squash, travel, and watch movies, and of course, reading reviews first. So welcome, Riti and Anil. I'm so happy to have both of you here today.
Well, thank you, Katie. Glad to be here, and look forward to talking to you all.
Looking forward to it, guys.
Absolutely. So thrilled to have you both here today. So let's go ahead and dive in, and we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. So today we've got lots of content for you guys. We're going to be talking about the awesome customer experience, the importance of online reviews, how to really select an online review platform, the email reminder series, syndication of reviews, the power to leverage Google, the multiplier effect, and then really using the power of reviews to grow your business. And I do want to mention, too, as we're going through all the information today, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put the questions in the chat box here. We'll try to get to as many as we can towards the end of the webinar today. So let's see here. Okay, so let me go and flip the slide here. So let me talk a little bit about the customer, let me just move a couple things here, the awesome customer experience and really the value of planting the seed. You know, I'm a really big believer. I was talking to Anil and Riti about this yesterday, that it's so important for agents and brokers when they're thinking about their business and they're thinking about new products or new apps or new widgets or new things to incorporate into their business. That's not about just the next shiny object, but it's about what are products and services that are going to provide that awesome customer experience. And I know for me personally, that's something that's so important. You know, with a lot of the clients I work with, it's not just about, oh, that's a great product, but how does it really help that client experience? You know, I know just for myself, buying a home about a year and a half ago, and being on the other side of things, you know, being that client buying a home, just being able to have that great customer experience is so important. And it's really exciting to see that that's such a passion of Riti and Anil, and really what they're doing at RankMyAgent. So I want to talk a little bit about agent skills and qualities, because I think that this is a really important thing to talk about here. This is actually the NAR generational report, and the report talks about important skills that customers want real estate agents to have. So across the top, we see things like honesty and integrity is 98%. I don't know why that wasn't 100%, but 98%, of course, consumers expect agents and brokers to be honest and have that integrity. Knowledge of the purchase process was 94%. Responsiveness was 93%. Knowledge of the real estate market was 93%, and negotiation skills 87%. So then we look below at sort of the next level of what home buyers and sellers are looking for, and it's communication skills, people skills, knowledge of their local area, and skills and technology. And so what's interesting as I look at all these numbers is that a lot of what is affected by these numbers is that customer experience. And that customer experience in a lot of ways is shaped by how they expect that realtor to work with them. And a lot of that is shaped by the reviews that we see online. And all of us have done this, you know, before we work with anyone professionally. A lot of times we Google them, or we look at reviews, and that can play such a big part of that overall experience for us. So I would love, Anil, I'm going to pass this to you here to talk a little bit about the importance of online reviews and where that plays a part in everything that we're talking about here.
Sure, Katie, thank you. So just to carry that forward, so that was done from a NAR perspective. However, it's the same criteria that you are being researched on is what's provided from a feedback perspective as well. So, Katie, you've alluded to the importance of delivering on that amazing customer experience, as it serves as a strong foundation to online reviews. The key criteria that you've talked about is neighborhood knowledge, professionalism, negotiation, communication, and people skills. And it's actually these parameters that are usually used to provide feedback on a review platform. So it's very critical that you're delivering upon those initially to guarantee that you're getting a solid review once that transaction is closed. Next slide, Katie.
Absolutely.
So online reviews are mainstream. They're pretty much embedded in our everyday psyche, from how we purchase goods or services, how we explore, and how we make decisions. Let's say if we were taking a trip. We first check for the best airfares, then we proceed to checking the hotels that offer the best feedback or value. And then there are other extensions, such as picking the best restaurants with your favorite cuisines. And it continues from there on.
Absolutely.
So let's say if we were in the market for purchasing a car, or looking to hire the services of a professional such as a lawyer, doctor, and of course a real estate agent. It's the exact same behavior that carries through no matter what the transaction be, especially in an online atmosphere. So let's now move on to some solid stats to see how entrenched we are with reviews.
And I'd like to just interrupt you here really quick. Sorry, Anil. I just wanted to interrupt you really quick because I think that topic really quick of this, online reviews. I mean, obviously this is something that all of us do. We're going on a trip, or we're going to, whatever it might be. I would just be really curious. Again, not to interrupt you in mid thought there, but I would be curious as far as the audience. If they're collecting online reviews already, if they're already in the process of collecting online reviews. So I would love for you guys who are listening, if you could just give us a yes or no and let us know in the question box if you're collecting online reviews currently. Lots of yeses. Yes. Okay, cool. Very much so. Yes. Okay. Not yet, but need to. Okay. Cool. So sorry to interrupt you, Neil. I felt like it was important to kind of poll the audience and just get a sense of where people are at with that. But let's talk about some of these stats, because I know you got some really fascinating statistics here.
Yeah, it would pretty much support what's happening from an offline perspective, which is moving on to an online atmosphere right now. So a huge 90% of consumers read online reviews before making a buying decision. I personally go to the very extreme, and I'm probably going to embarrass myself here, but I'll go ahead and do it. The last time I was actually looking for reviews was for a toothbrush. So I know it's very far-stretched, but at the same time, I'm really big on reviews, and I think that carries over in anything and everything from a small transaction to a bigger transaction for myself. Just makes the buying process much more easier for me and not complicated. Let's move on to the next slide. 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations, so they're pretty much on par. There was another Google survey that was done recently that we don't have on here, but 2 out of 3 customers extensively research prospective agents online prior to working with them. So even though you might be getting that online referral, chances are very likely that the potential customer researched you online before they contacted you. So even though you might think that, you're working from a personal word-of-mouth referral kind of position, but it actually does work itself through an online check before it's validated, before you are approached for that particular transaction.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree with that. I mean, a lot of the clients that I've worked with that are in my coaching program, they say the exact same things. It's a lot of times word of mouth, but before, even if it's your best friend that referred you, it's still the biggest transaction of your life for a lot of people. So they're
right.
They're Googling you, they're looking at those reviews to just to do their due diligence. So let's see here. So let's talk a little bit about selecting an online review platform, because obviously there's lots of places that agents and brokers can get reviewed online, from Yelp to Zillow to Google, to all different types of places. So I would love to kind of talk a little bit about the process of finding a great review platform.
So, Katie, we've set the precedence for customer experience. We've established that online reviews are pretty much embedded in our everyday psyche. They are mainstream. So having set that foundation, and let's say you as agents are now looking for the right real estate platform, what should you be looking for? The first aspect is you want to look for something that's independent. Customers are very smart. You need to look for something that's not biased towards either party and presents a very unified position, both for the customer perspective as well as on the agent or broker perspective. It should also provide insights into various analytics into what's working and what's not working. So you can look at the metrics and see how you might need to change your position. You should be able to also geoform. That allows the ability for the homeowner to search for agents in different geographic areas. So it makes the search process based upon online reviews much more easier. It needs to be moderated. Katie, you mentioned about Google and Yelp. You need to be able to actually look at a platform and say, was this done on a closed transaction basis or not? Because chances are, if a review is posted on a Yelp or another like platform, it could have been just a mere transaction, and that potential customer was able to post a review regardless of that transaction closing or not. So you got to be really mindful of that. And that allows you to actually have checks in place to making sure that if the review is negative, then you have a fair chance of responding to it with your side of the story as well. And that comes back to responding back to reviews. You need to be able to manage the process. You need to show that you're invested in the process and provide, again, what you thought was a fair expectation in terms of that transaction. There should be a brokerage portal component to it as well. From that perspective, what happens is that the entire team with your brokerage can be on there, so you can benchmark yourself against other brokerages, and obviously the whole review management process within the brokerage is much more easier, and obviously you can, there's a lot of back and forth that happens between agents, and you can show that on a common platform. You also want to look for something for a component which allows you to have early resolution. What we call that is we allow a 2-week period where if there is a negative review or negative feedback that was posted, then allows for the agent, the homeowner, and the broker to come to an amiable solution to resolve that before that goes live. So that would just basically, you're talking to the homeowner, you're understanding where they're coming from, and then you're able to showcase what the true picture was versus posting something in the heat of the moment and not being able to retract that, or the bad message is already out there. So you need to look for a platform that allows you to do that. Wide scale distribution, that's really important in today's time, especially from a social media perspective. You need to look for a platform where you are able to automate. So once the review comes in, you're able to automate that. It goes on, obviously, on your personal site. It goes onto the review platform. And at the same time, you're pushing it to via a tweet or a post on Facebook, or even shooting a video for Periscope, something along those lines. So it's all automated. You're focused on building a business. Once the review comes in, that's all in the background, and you're able to do that. And the lastly and most important is you need to be able to distinguish between a review and a testimonial. Reviews are unbiased. They are mostly initiated by customers and require creating an account. Testimonials are very selective, and as I said before, customers are very smart. They can see through glowing 5-star reviews. If you have a 4-star, if you have a little bit of a negative review, it actually is more realistic. It is more credible. So don't shy away from that. It actually builds a reputation based on credibility and trustworthiness. So those are, I would say, the key criteria that you need to look for before you select a review platform.
Well, I think it's good that you're covering all this, because I think for a lot of agents and brokers, I don't think that you're necessarily thinking about all these pieces of it. And I think for a lot of agents, they feel a little not in control of the review process. You know, they hope they do a great job. They feel like they do, do a really great job. And then these reviews are sort of floating around out there. And I know it can be stressful for agents to know, like, well, gosh, did that person review me? Or, oh, I found this one. Gosh, it was posted 2 weeks ago, and I didn't even realize it was there. And so I think it's important for an agent, or a broker to think about this, and especially as part of their overall process, and getting a process together and getting a system together, just like they have for anything else. So I find this really fascinating to really think through each one of these pieces of it. Really important. So the other big piece of it, of course, is sort of asking for the review. And I find this conversation, we chatted a little bit about this yesterday when we were talking about this webinar, but I find this whole process really kind of fascinating, because there's kind of a science behind it in a lot of ways of how you ask and what that email, reminder looks like, and that whole process around it. So can you guys get into a little bit more of the details around that part of it?
For sure, Katie. Hi, everyone. This is Riti here. So before I dive right into the first request, I just wanted to kind of lay the foundation about, getting that 5-star experience. There certainly is a direct connect between great communication and nurturing great reviews. So before you sign a new listing, a good practice is to lay out the expectations. Let your clients know you want to give them a 5-star experience. You should let them know about what they should expect from you. And if they ever feel you're not providing that 5-star service, they need to communicate to you. So this way, you're already sowing those seeds for a great review. So a suggestion for you is that when you do your weekly check-ins, you should ask your clients, how am I doing? Is there anything that I could do to improve, enhance my service to you? And this will ensure that the ball never gets dropped and you are exceeding those expectations and you're all set for that great review. So let's talk more about the first request. We've found that in order to consistently get reviews from your clients, agents need to create a system and build that process into their normal business routine. You probably already have a protocol for following up with potential leads, touching base with those existing clients, and double checking on your transactions. So this is a way in which you can add reviews to that mix. And the first step always is to, on the form or the close of a transaction, start asking for that review. So here is the snapshot of the RankMyAgent review platform where you can manage that review process. It allows you to upload all your clients and send out that branded customized email. So this is how that email looks like once it's sent out. The survey itself is quite easy. It takes a client about 5 minutes to complete online, so it's a quick and easy process. So if we can now go on to the next slide, Katie. We also want to make sure that we are asking for reviews at different stages of the deal as it gets finalized. Some of the key milestones are, of course, when that deal goes firm. This is an exciting time for most buyers and sellers and a great time to ask for that review. Following this opportunity, you should ask for that review 5 to 7 days post-closing. The follow-up should begin with, how have things been so far for you since closing? Is there anything else that you need from me? Well, if all is well, can you leave me a review? And just let them communicate to them the significance of this review and how this will help you with your business. If you're on the phone with them, just let them know that you will also send them an email or a text message with a direct link to your profile, and make sure you do that right away so that you can get that review from them. Another opportunity would be 3 to 4 months after closing. We've seen many agents be very successful with reviews by sending reminders also in newsletters, in marketing collateral, and in the footer of email signatures. When these clients get reminded and see this over time, they will certainly understand what value this brings for you. And if you have provided that 5-star experience, that amazing customer experience, they will write that review for you. I really feel that this is the least that they could do for you, given that you've done so much for them through this process. So we'll move on to the next slide now. So as Katie had previously mentioned, we would be sending you this ultimate online review cheat for real estate agents. Katie, do you want to pull that cheat sheet up?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here.
So
yeah,
this is a, oh, go ahead, Katie.
Oh, I was just going to say, so you guys are going to get this in your email later today. And I have to say, I know this probably sounds a little geeky, but I was so fired up to get this and to read it over, because I attend a lot of webinars and people say, oh, you know, we'll send you something, and it's usually like, I don't know, a 1-page PDF or something. This is like a 21-page ebook, and it has so much great information about this whole review process, how to ask for reviews, just the initial request. I mean, it really goes into like specific details of like a time frame after closing, after the initial request. There's scripts that are in here. So again, not to geek out too much, but it's really meaty, and I'm just really fired up. You guys are offering this to everybody who attends here today.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, you know, it's very easy to just incorporate this within your drip campaigns, within your CRM system, so that you can certainly start collecting those reviews.
Absolutely. Yep, definitely. So again, you guys are going to get that in your email later today, and definitely take the time to look through it, you know, over the next couple of days. I know that you guys are probably inundated with all kinds of things that you get sent, but, you know, definitely take the time to read through this. There's some really, really good information, and especially, you know, it's still early into 2016, and a lot of you are thinking about, you know, your year and your marketing plans, and, you know, I think reviews are one of those things that we all think are important. We all get reviews, but, you know, I don't necessarily know a ton of agents who have like a specific strategy around getting, acquiring, moderating, like from start to finish. So that's where I feel like this really, you know, fills a big, big need, you know, just in my opinion. So, okay, so I think we're going to, let me just move my notes here. So let's talk a little bit about this part. And this, I might get a little geeky again, because this is also a very cool thing, the syndication of reviews. And this is kind of the whole social media part that we were talking about a little bit earlier when Anil was talking about sort of what to look for in, you know, in a review platform of where those reviews go. Would you like me to touch on this part of it, or Anil, did you want to kind of set the stage for this part?
So I
So yeah,
think you
just
can.
alluding to the fact that you want to make sure that the assets that's come in, you're really capitalizing on it and you're optimizing on it and you're making sure that you're distributing it through various channels. Obviously, social media is huge, and the partners that we work with within Canada itself, we're in the process of making sure that it's syndicated to the corporate brand side as well. So this is something that you need to look for, and Riti, you can further expand on it if you need to.
For sure, for sure. So certainly, reviews are a great opportunity to build that social proof online. Katie, what I want to do is actually, if you give me the screen access, I want to give everyone a live demo about how agents have used reviews.
Absolutely. Let me just make sure I give it to you. Let's see here. Okay. And all right, you should get a little pop-up there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I hope everyone can see my screen. If you could just type yes on the chat bar, and Katie, you can just make sure.
Let's see. Yep, I see your screen.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, we're on Google. And I love all the participation. You guys are awesome for all the yes/no stuff on the questions. We appreciate it. It's always good to have feedback.
So I'm going to take you to an agent's website and show you how she has incorporated unbiased, credible reviews onto her website. As you can see, she has the RankMyAgent widget here, so just really helps build trust. As you can see the review date. You can also see how, what role she played in that transaction and when it happened. So it definitely is a lot of clarity for someone coming onto her site. Now I think I can give you a demo of maybe a brokerage site and how they've incorporated. So we have a very big brokerage here in Edmonton, Remax River City, and you'll see how the brokerage itself has syndicated reviews from RankMyAgent onto their site. It certainly provides a lot of great information as consumers come into the site. They see beautiful pictures, but to have value by seeing, what that experience was really helps them out. When we click on any of these profiles, we are taken to the RankMyAgent profile, where a consumer coming in can, learn more about this agent and certainly read these reviews, which of course are based on firm transactions that have happened. Okay, so I'm going to actually jump on to Facebook now to give you some examples of Facebook integrations and how agents are also using these reviews as part of their Facebook strategy. So if I want to look for Kelowna, they're the Sun Sisters based out of Kelowna, and they have incorporated the RankMyAgent widget. So, these are confirmed reviews, very different than Facebook reviews where anyone can just go in and write a review. These are actual clients. As you can see, these reviews are right here and available. And as Anil had mentioned, everything is automatic and synced in. So it's a one-time setup, and then, all these reviews will always be synced in. Let's get on to Twitter as well. Okay, so there is a Twitter integration that we have here as well that basically allows for agents to let others know about, the great service they're providing. And also there's a hashtag related to the geofarming area that they work in. So this is a great way to capture some new leads. Katie, what are your thoughts on all of these options that agents have?
I really think it's a smart way of doing it. Anytime that there's any sort of automation, I think automation can be great, but I'm always, I always sort of take the stance of, okay, is it going to look automated, or I want to make sure that it never loses that kind of personal touch. And I think that's one thing you guys have done a really nice job at, of when a review gets syndicated, of how it looks on different platforms, of how it looks on their website and how it looks on Facebook and Twitter. It's one of those little things that I think it just makes a big difference. It just plays to the fact that you want to be authentic. You want it to look as if you just posted this or if you just tweeted that, but as we all know, agents are busy, and the last thing they probably are doing is spending all day on Twitter. So, I really like how you guys have taken the time to, to make it look really authentic, and to make it look like it should look on all the different platforms. And I always say, I mean, for those of you guys who've been following me, a lot of people who are listening here, maybe you've heard me on other webinars, or they've taken classes of mine or something. And I always think when it comes to content for social media, a review is always a great piece of content. It's always great to have someone else saying how great you are or how great that transaction was. So, just as an overall social media strategy, I'm always on board incorporating reviews. But I think specifically with the whole syndication, how you guys do it is really, really fascinating. And it's honestly one of the reasons why I wanted to work with you guys, because it's very different than, in my opinion, other products that are kind of out there, other sort of review products. So I got to give you guys a high five because I think it's really cool.
It's great. Thank you so much, Katie. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey over the last 2 years. But prior to those 2 years, I was licensed as an agent, and coming from a tech background and the agent background, we could really understand what those needs were for those agents and the need for transparency from the consumer end, and that's how RankMyAgent evolved. So let's get back into the deck. Yeah. Now we're hoping we will be touching on the power to leverage Google and how you can make these reviews really work for you. So I'm going to actually do another demo for you where I just go off to Google. So I'm not signed in.
And by the way, I know a few of you have questions. We're going to get to as many questions as we can at the end. So feel free to keep putting questions in the chat, and we're going to get to just as many as we can at the end. So thank you guys for engaging with us.
Okay, so Google really does care a lot about what others are saying about you versus what you're saying. I'm going to find an agent on RankMyAgent who has a few reviews right now, and I'm just going to put his name in the search bar. I'm going to put in reviews, as this is very common for someone doing research on anything to just kind of put first name, last name reviews. And what you'll see here is that RankMyAgent does really well organically popping up, because Google does really love what is being said about you. And this is what we're hoping that most agents will do. They'll start building trust online, start improving their online profile by creating these, getting their clients to write these reviews. And right away, of course, you're taken to his profile on the site. You can see a breakdown of his performance using the metrics that we had discussed early on, and just giving a lot of people a lot of great insight about his service and creating transparency for everyone.
That's great. Well, and the Google part of it, I mean, that's it's funny you bring this up. I mean, I get asked all the time, like, how do I improve my Google ranking? Should I pay someone to get to the top of Google? And, I mean, reviews can be a big part of that, just helping with your Google ranking and helping with how you're perceived online.
That's right. That's right. And, every review is really an opportunity for clients to share your authentic brand story, which brings us actually to our next topic. As consumers read these reviews online, they appreciate the transparency. They also feel that they've connected with you and they know a lot about you even before they even talk to you on the phone. I think that decision is already kind of made that, this would be a good agent based on what I've read, based on other people's circumstances. So I can actually give you a demo, a little bit of a demonstration on the site right now and show you how, agents are just creating these amazing brand stories, getting their clients to write about that service. So here is Michael Draper. So Michael Draper has about 14 reviews on the site so far and doing quite well. But there is one story that just really sticks out for me. It's actually a story about how Michael was helping these out-of-towners. Let me just find this review for you. So basically the story goes
he's got so many great reviews, it's hard to find, right?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time, but this one is actually like a 300-word review where Michael helped these out-of-towners that were only in for a weekend. He, during this process, fell down the stairs, injured his ankle, but continued to show homes that day, and the out-of-towners really did appreciate that. Of course, he did sell that house, and, it's just, when you read that, that, Michael is going to go well beyond duty to help his clients. And
That's incredible.
These are the stories that we want others to share about us.
Well, I always say agents and brokers are the hardest working people. It's just like the show will go on, right?
That's right. Yeah, there's no weekend. It's just
right.
Go, go, go.
Right.
And it's important.
Well, and
to
I
be
love what you're talking about. Sorry not to
Mm-hmm.
interrupt you. I was just going to say I love you're talking about how your clients can really help to tell your story, and that's something I try to really emphasize all the time. It's like, as an agent, what's your story? What does it feel like to work with you? How are you different than every other agent in town? And it's hard to really kind of differentiate yourself. So when you can have your clients sort of share those stories, and that's kind of an interesting tip too. Is if, a lot of times clients will say, well, what should I write about you? And maybe kind of encouraging them to talk about like what it felt like for them to work with you. That's a great way to kind of explain that story.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's a great idea for a little cheat sheet as well.
Yeah, add it to the cheat sheet.
Yeah, make a note of that. Okay, so in terms of number of reviews customers read before trusting a business, the sweet spot is 4 to 6 reviews, and where at that position you capture about 70% of the trust factor. I've just demonstrated, with the example I gave you on Google, that you can start making a mark for yourself with just a few reviews, and this really helps you set the stage and capitalize on using the power of those reviews. Now I think I'll pass it back to Katie, who will talk more about how to build online reviews into your overall business strategy.
Great. All right, let me see if I can take it back here. There we go. Okay. Show my screen. All right, perfect. So let's just flip through where we are at here. And this, I think, is pretty fascinating. I know you just touched on this for a second, Riti, but this is pretty fascinating that's sort of that sweet spot. I think a lot of times agents think that they need, hundreds or thousands of reviews, which, of course, that would be great too. But even just having a handful, that's very encouraging, especially, I think, for the newer agent. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about using the power of reviews to grow your business. And then let me, let's see here. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. So I definitely think there's a lot of power of reviews, in that. And when you're thinking about how to grow your business, whether you've been in business for 20 or 30 years, or whether you're a brand new agent, I think when you start to think about, as we just talked about a second ago, how can you leverage clients and past clients to tell the story of your brand, I think that's really powerful. And, one of the things I always encourage a lot of my coaching clients to do is is to start by just asking, right? I think a lot of times we just assume that our clients are going to review us, like assume that they've had a great experience. But as we all know, we get to closing and then it gets busy and then they start moving and packing and it just becomes, a little chaotic. So when you can start to really incorporate a process into asking your clients, and I would also encourage agents, to think about clients they've worked with earlier in the year, 6 months ago, a year ago, and if they haven't received reviews, it's a great opportunity to reach out, touch base, see how they're doing, and if appropriate, ask for that review at that point. So, just to kind of summarize what we've talked about so far, and then we're going to open it up in just a couple minutes here for questions. Obviously, we talked about the fundamentals to provide a great real estate experience. We talked about how online reviews are here to stay. They're really going to be a key driver for business. As much as I love technology, there is nothing like that online review. We talked a lot about, obviously, the key criteria in selecting an online review platform. And I know some of you have some questions about that, which we're going to get to in a second. The email reminder series, again, that's going to be in that cheat sheet you guys are going to get later on today in your email. The Google power, the Google juice, as I like to call it, there's so much benefit to having those reviews. Obviously, online it only boosts, if someone is searching for a specific agent in your area, when you've got those reviews, especially with RankMyAgent, it only helps your placement. And then obviously there's a lot of power in just using reviews overall to grow your business. So what I'd like to go ahead and do is open up a link here really quick. Let me go back to my browser, and we're going to open up RankMyAgent.com/social smart reviews, and I can show you guys this link here really quick. And Aniti or Riti, would either one of you like to kind of talk a little bit about what we're seeing here?
Sure, I can go into it.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing here is basically a landing page, and the site itself, just a little bit of background information on the site. We went through a major redesign last year, though we've been in the business for only a year, but we wanted to make sure the design was really flat and clean and very minimalistic. Also, we wanted to make sure that we were speaking equally to three different segments, the homeowner, the agent, as well as the broker. So the site is actually appealing to three different audiences. In terms of the page itself, we're showcasing actually all the different functionalities that are available to you from a dashboard perspective. You have the learning center. We are coming out with an iPhone app as well, whereas you would be able to utilize pretty much everything that you see from a desktop perspective onto an iOS app, and later on moving on to Android as well. So it's very feature heavy. It's very heavy from a benefit perspective, and from a pricing perspective, I think you're just right on the edge there, Katie. Right now we have it priced on a monthly basis, all inclusive, $20 a month, and you receive all the unlimited privileges that are available on our site, the profile, the reviews, the feedback invitations, everything that you need to get started with the online reviews. We didn't want to go through a model which is very typical in digital marketing and more so in real estate as well, where you have the small, medium, high kind of three levels of memberships. So you want to make it flat and easy to comprehend in terms of what you are getting from RankMyAgent. So this is a full-blown feature list for what's available. Riti, you want to expand on it?
Yes, sorry, Anil, I think the call had dropped. I had to get back on. So we were discussing pricing. We do also have brokerage pricing. Did you touch on that, Anil?
I just started talking on it.
Okay, great. Yes, so we do have brokerage pricing available, and there's some also some strategic alliances we have with the RE/MAX network, RE/MAX Integra, RE/MAX of Western Canada, and also we are striking more deals with brokerages all the time. So with that, we're looking at the pricing really drop because it's on a volume basis. So certainly you can reach out to us if you would like us to talk more about that and get into that pricing.
That's great. And I'm just going to pull up here as well, so you guys have the link here, and then I'm going to ask Melissa, who's listening in here, if she could drop this link in the chat. It's just rankmyagent.com/social smart reviews. And what's exciting is if you get started, then you actually get a 1 month free trial, which is really kind of fun. There's a coupon code there, Social Smart Reviews. So if you sign up because you heard the webinar, you can use our special code and get a month free to try it out, which is great. And I know we've got a lot of broker owners who are listening. I would definitely encourage you to reach out to the team to find out about their enterprise level packaging, because especially on a brokerage level, there's lots of really cool features and bells and whistles that I think would be really, really exciting for you guys to check out. So that being said, I'd love to open it up to questions here, because I know some of you have some questions, and we're going to try to get to let's see, as many as possible. And there was a few questions around other review sites like the Zillows and the Realtor.coms of the world. Maybe either Riti or Anil, one of you can take this. So one of the things the question was is, does RankMyAgent, are the reviews that are created on RankMyAgent, do those also get syndicated to any other platforms like Zillow or Realtor.com? I'm assuming it's probably no. I think like you talked about, it just gets syndicated to the website and to the social media platforms. But can you maybe just touch on that briefly?
Right. So yes, currently, Katie, they do go to the websites, but certainly we do want to open up these discussions. And if you are from any one of those organizations, certainly do reach out to us. We would like to get them onto Zillow, onto Realtor.com as well.
Absolutely. I think that would be a great opportunity for sure. And one of the things I've always said too, I get asked this all the time, like, oh, I wish there was just one site we could put all of our reviews on, which of course, RankMyAgent would be that site. But as we know, our clients are going on different venues, and I always feel like it's a little bit like breadcrumbs. all over the internet when people are doing that Google search for you. But let's see here. A question about the website syndication. So Nathan asks, for the website syndication, is that a widget that would work on any website?
That's correct. It's just a small widget code, a little JavaScript that can be added to any website, and yeah, it's a one-time setup.
Great, awesome. Jim asks, what about posting endorsements on LinkedIn? And that's a great question. It's somewhat related to what we're talking about. LinkedIn's an interesting place. It's not necessarily connected to RankMyAgent. And obviously LinkedIn is more of a professional platform, not just real estate related. Endorsements, I will just mention this, endorsements by themselves on LinkedIn, I personally don't think are as effective. Endorsements are simply just somebody clicking a button and saying, yes, I'm endorsing you for real estate, whereas a review is much more thorough. I don't know if either one of you have any thoughts around LinkedIn or perhaps an integration with LinkedIn.
So that's also another integration that we would like to open up the doors to. Certainly, I think that agents are using a lot of recommendations on LinkedIn, but it would be great to have the RankMyAgent ones also go to that. Currently, certainly, images and so on could be added of these reviews, but we don't have an automatic procedure at this moment.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I think the workaround too, specifically for LinkedIn, you could certainly put as a status update, you could put a link to a review that you received from RankMyAgent. There's a few sort of workarounds I think you could probably do as an agent, and if you were really active on LinkedIn and you wanted to showcase your RankMyAgent profiles, you could do that a number of different ways. So you can get kind of creative. You can actually put in, embed images into your profile and things like that. So that could be the hack in the meantime.
That's right.
Let's see here. Just reading through any other questions we might have. Love the ebook and strategy. Lots of people are fired up about the ebook, which is awesome. Let's see here. Are we sending the recording? Yep, we are definitely sending the recording. A few questions about the availability of this throughout the United States and Canada. So maybe you guys can touch on that as well.
Sure. So RankMyAgent is available across US and Canada. So certainly, in the city basis in the States, we've just entered a few of the markets, such as Indiana, some of the East Coast areas as well. But the neighborhood mapping also will expand as we find where the traction is and where the agents are coming from the US level. When we, in the Canadian side, we are really well established. We are into many cities here, but from East to West Coast, and we have also done neighborhood mapping for those cities. So certainly watch for that. And if you have any area that you would like us to, really jump on, if you're a broker and you have many agents that would like to participate, certainly we'll be on it and we'll get that too.
That's great. Great. A few other questions. So Kathy Tumis asks, hey Kathy, good to see you here by the way. So I always love seeing familiar faces in our webinars. So she asks, how easy is this to get up and running? Is there a long training period? Is it fairly easy to get up and running? Maybe you guys could talk about that.
Sure. It's a very easy process. If you are an agent, it's just basically getting your profile all set. We have a whole library here of tutorials and so on, but really be very, very simple. And actually this Friday, we're hosting a webinar on just getting set up with RankMyAgent. So if any of you find that you want to take that next step this Friday, we can send you a link after this call. You can join us for that. It's a half-an-hour session, and it'll get you running in no time.
Oh, great. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a big part of it, too. Sometimes we sign up for things, and it's like, oh, how long is this going to take to get integrated?
That's right. And Anil, do you want to talk about the broker side of things and how easy it is?
Yeah, Sorry, just want to make sure that I'm live here. With the broker side of things, as Riti was mentioning, it's very straightforward. What we would do is that you can obviously call us in, email us. We would provide you with enterprise level pricing. After that, we would just need information for all the agents with their email addresses, and we would set them up with their unique IDs, and it's almost the same as having your own account. But the benefit from a brokerage perspective is that you're not paying $20 a month. We have brokerage level pricing, which is heavily subsidized because we want to make sure that pretty much all of you are using RankMyAgent. And from a centralized perspective, it really works for you as well because it allows you with that unified solution to managing all the reviews for all the agents under a single umbrella. So if you're interested in that, just give us a call or email us, and we'll jump on a call with you and set that up as well.
That's great. So a couple other questions here. Let's see here. So Jerry asks, and this is a really good question. He says, if I have a number of reviews already on Zillow, what are some of the benefits I would gain by using RankMyAgent instead of that?
That's a great question. So we do have a lot of agents that actually are part of other sites, but they are looking to cross-leverage that and, you know, for SEO purposes, also build those reviews onto RankMyAgent. What we are doing for those agents is that we ask them for that transaction address. We ask them for the client's email address, and we basically merge that testimonial, that review, with our metrics that we have. Our survey is a little bit different than other platforms out there where we go into the actual skills that consumers find very important. And our account managers work with your client to basically get those details and merge that onto the site. So, you know, what I have to say to you is that the more you can leverage this online reviews ability, the more you can go onto different networks and do this, it's advantageous for you just to build that trust.
Another thing, Riti, I'd like to add to that is RankMyAgent is truly an online review platform. We're not a listing site. We're not focused on advertising. We're completely unbiased, and that was one of the criteria that I'd mentioned in terms of what you need to look for in a review platform. So to provide that authenticity and the credibility, we stay away from the peripherals of real estate, and we focus entirely on online reviews. So that allows us to have that transparency and the credibility in front of the eyes of homeowners that are looking to look for sites that are filled with just reviews and not testimonials. So we play in that space, and that's where we're unlike probably other platforms out there.
Yeah, it's an interesting distinction, you know, the fact that you are just a review portal, you know, versus a, you know, listing syndication or anything like that. So it's definitely an interesting distinction there. Let's see here. A few people mentioned that they're really interested in the webinar that you mentioned, Riti, for Friday. So we should make sure we send that link out about that webinar.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see
here. Just added it to the chat window if you want to share it, Katie.
Oh, okay, great. Let me see here. Let's see. Perfect. Yes, thank you, Melissa, for sending that out. Perfect. So you guys should see that in the chat there. Let's see. Let's take one more question. I know we're getting close to the end of the hour here. So Courtney asks, how much traffic does RankMyAgent get? It seems like most people still do travel to Yelp or Zillow, or et cetera, et cetera. Do you have any type of numbers or anything that you might be able to talk about as far as traffic that RankMyAgent might drive to your website?
Mm-hmm, for sure. So we are at a couple of thousand users, unique users, touching on RankMyAgent on a monthly basis. But I have to say that it's the overall strategy. It's not just people coming to this site. It's also, you know, how they're syndicated, these reviews, and how they help you build trust. What we're seeing is a nice increase over the last 7-8 months of traffic increasing, and organically, you know, Google recognizing RankMyAgent as a trustworthy source for these hosting these reviews.
Absolutely. I just want to touch on a couple quick things really quick. A couple people commented on sort of my comment around endorsements with LinkedIn, and not to go off into a tangent or anything, but I think one of the challenges with endorsements for LinkedIn is that I'm finding a lot of people who endorse agents on LinkedIn, a lot of times they don't necessarily know them, and there's a little bit of a spam factor that's happening with LinkedIn, unfortunately. So it's kind of a whole other conversation for a whole other day, but that's just one of the challenges I see with that. And then I do want to take just another question here real fast, because Sherry McCormick, thanks for being here, Sherry. Another familiar face, had a few questions here about, she just said, this is a concern I think a lot of agents have. She said, I'm concerned about the number of times I'm asking my clients to make reviews on different sites. Do you have any suggestions, or do you think perhaps a client could repost a review that they already put on Zillow or somewhere else?
Right, right. So, I would say that it's very important to choose that platform wisely. The platform that you choose, is it something that is moderated? Is it something that's verified? Does it allow you the ability to see these reviews prior to them being posted live? So you really need to make that wise decision, because I know it's a challenge to ask again many times. So you have to choose carefully which platform you would want to host these reviews. I think the syndication value is huge, so that even if you do have it on a platform and it allows you to syndicate onto social media, onto your own site, there's a lot of value on that end. Anil, do you want to add to that whole thought?
Yeah, it's. I think the selection of the review platform is very critical, because, as I was alluding to earlier on, that you want to make sure that at the end of the day, that judgment lies in the eyes of the homeowner. So you want to make sure that you're choosing a platform that's representing your interest and is as unbiased and as moderated as possible. I'm sure there are great competitive platforms out there. We're one of them. But it does present, and it's a great question, because it does present a little bit of a quandary from an agent's perspective, in terms of there are so many multiple choices. What do you choose? One of the things that we're striving towards, and I think we'll ultimately land there, is being that portal, that Katie, that you were alluding to, that provides that amalgamation of reviews, so that it's a one-stop shop where people are coming to RankMyAgent, where we are syndicating all the reviews. We are merely a review site, and that allows for that authenticity, but at the same time, it combines all the reviews that are being syndicated at different platforms right now. So that's a work in process. We'll definitely get there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I really appreciate all the comments, all the interaction, and I know there's some other questions that are coming through right now. If we didn't get to your question, we are actually going to be sending a list of all the questions, answered and unanswered. I'll be sending those over to Anil and Riti, and I know they will get back to you guys directly for anything else that we may not have covered here today. But I always like to be respectful of everyone's time, and I know we promised an hour. We're right basically on the on the hour mark. So I want to make sure that you guys have that link again. It's rankmyagent.com/Social Smart Reviews. You can use the coupon code Social Smart Reviews to get that free trial. And then check your email later today. We'll be sending out the recording to this webinar. We'll send this link out to you guys as well. You'll also get a copy of the ultimate cheat sheet, that great big PDF that's going to be coming your way. And for, again, anyone who is a broker or broker owner, if you're curious about pricing for that, please contact support@rankmyagent.com for that information as well. So just a big thank you, Riti and Anil, for being here, for providing this webinar today. I think that we've really kind of scratched the surface of this whole conversation with reviews, but really, really appreciate you guys being here. And just a big thank you to everyone who attended live, and if you're listening to the recording, thank you as well for being here. We know that you have a choice when it comes to listening to webinars, and we certainly appreciate your time and all the interaction we had here today. So Riti and Anil, thank you. Did you guys have any last words of wisdom before we close up today?
Thank you so much for having us here today, Katie. Great to have everyone here. Looking forward to working with you, learning more about you, and empowering everyone to use the power of reviews.
Thank you, everyone. Echo the same comments.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you both so much, and hope you both have a great day. And I hope everyone here listening has a great day as well. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you real soon. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.